Good to have you back on, Mark, CEO of Upcell. This time, talking us through a bit more of everything to do with data enrichment, particularly, obviously, Upcell, why you built Upcell, how you built it. I've seen a lot of agencies in particular, a lot of customers have great success with Upcell. So I wanted to talk a bit more detail about your success, the tool, why you're building the tool like you are. So great to have you back on, Mark.
Pleasure, James, as always. It's great to be back.
Yeah, good stuff. So I guess give everyone just maybe like a high level overview of what is Upsell and why should people look at it as like a key data enrichment tool that for their teams.
Absolutely, yeah. So Upsell is really two things. One, it's a lightweight Chrome extension that enables sellers to be able to add records from social prospecting directly into CRM and then into engagement flows. It's built really with the enterprise in mind. It's very RevOps centric, has a lot of admin capabilities. But one of the biggest benefits that Upsell brings to the table is we're a data company, but we're also data agnostic with respect to our solution. So customers can adopt Upsell, they can use our data, or they can use a myriad of different data providers and simply plug those API keys into our extension, ensuring that every single record that's exported has multiple data providers. So you'd have, several different mobile phones. You'd have potential for multiple emails that you could ensure that you always have fill rate on. So you're maximizing fill rate and maximizing the ability for your reps to be able to connect with those folks, those top tier prospects, keeping your reps really just focused on identification of the right individuals and enabling RevOps to do the enrichment to ensure that those reps have the best shot at reaching out to those folks. So Chrome extensions on one side, and then we are a data company on the other side as well. We sell our data either enabling enrichment through our extension or via an API to be plugged into AirScale or Clay or BitScale or any of those kinds of solutions as well. We really pride ourselves on our mobile phone database for North America. That's really our claim to fame. So if folks it's a niche, but if people are looking to reach out to prospects in North America and they're calling mobile phones, cell phones in particular, we believe we have the highest accuracy of any provider in the space.
Yeah, nice. And really good breakdown there. And just to split that out a little bit and focus on what I think makes it so powerful. Like you pointed to a lot of admin capabilities and stuff for the RevOps side. But the thing that I like about it most and why I introduce you to so many people is that the clean Chrome extension that helps SDRs do their job, helps AEs find people, create the contact record in CRM, and then crack on. There's not this jumping between different things. They don't necessarily have to go into Clay to work out a waterfall enrichment and build a load of stuff. It's just nice, clean clicks, moving contacts into the CRM, into the right places. And then you can crack on, right? And you were doing that, in my opinion, pretty quicker than a lot of companies who I think are trying to hash that stuff together at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of organizations too. A lot of our competitors are building more and more and more into the solution. And I'm a sales guy by trade, as you know, James. So we have a saying that we like to say when people talk about the simplicity of the solution. I said it has to be simple for sales, but robust enough for RevOps. And that's really it in a nutshell. We tried to make it really, really, really easy for sales folks to be able to do their job. It should be just an innate piece of functionality that they just use that's built into all the tech that they already use. I don't want them logging into another solution, having another web application, having run sales teams. The last thing I wanted to do is have to teach more sellers about another solution and how to use it. This is very native to their workflow, as you mentioned, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I know one of the customers we've introduced to you, their SDR team, 100 plus SDRs, they're prospecting 40% faster. So they're finding a contact, adding it to the correct list, and then getting to call that person 40% faster than they were using traditional competitors of yours.
It's one click, right? I mean, you've seen it, you've used it. So it's Very, very, very fast. And yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. They've had awesome success. They're also bolstering with, multiple providers in CRM. So they've got, our extension, it's powered. They have our data. They're also leveraging other supplemental providers, via enrichment to bolster data coverage, which is great.
And that's what makes it so powerful, right? And let's get on to those other providers, right? And like your competitors. What is the difference, maybe not just from the functionality, I think we've kind of covered that a little bit, to you, like where you've really focused, and that clean contact creation, clean Chrome extension, making it simple for the salespeople themselves, but still giving like robust capability to RevOps people on the back end. And that's what you facilitate. Your competitors, who are the main competitors, and what would you say maybe your key differences? Obviously, you already mentioned North America, so I'm going to put up Zoom Info. It's the first one. That's what most people want to ask about. What makes you so much better than, in your view, much better than Zoom Info?
I think ZoomInfo's got a great solution. They've been around for a long time. As you know, like myself, my co-founder, were part of ZoomInfo. It's just, I think we're really supporting companies that are looking to simplify their stack, reduce costs overall. They don't see huge value, our customers, in a lot of the AI components or the intent components, or even all the bits and bobs that are in these solutions around engagement and conversational intelligence, this all in one concept around sales intelligence that's been very pervasive over the past 10 years. Ours is very much a point solution. It's a Chrome extension intended for prospecting and ensuring that individual records, contact and lead records, are up to date and accurate prior to engaging with those individuals. And that's a very specific use case. It's a very specific type of buyer that's looking for just that. But we definitely, those ABX style account based selling teams, typically in the mid market enterprise, that's what we find is really our fit, and where our customers gravitate from. They're looking to prospect into these set accounts that they've been assigned, crack in and export them directly into CRM, dropping them into some sort of engagement flow, whether it's Outreach, SalesLoft, Gong Engage, HubSpot Engage. There's a bunch, but whichever engagement solution that they're using. And they just need that to happen seamlessly and just every single time. We don't do, like I said, the bells and whistles. Like we're not doing intent. We're not building. I will never build an engagement solution. It's something that we're foundationally not going to do. We're focused on the data and we're focused on prospecting, and those are the two components. We have the Chrome extension, and then we've got our data asset, and that's really all that we care to focus on, and that's where we feel also that at least our customers find the most value from our solution.
I think it's where most SDR leaders that we speak to through Stakki, that's what they want. Everything else is noise, it distracts people, and that's what you've really focused on, right? It's why we had such a good relationship from the start. How do we simplify things for sales teams, outbound teams, allow them to have more conversations? That's it. So how does the pricing maybe for Upcell compare to some of those bigger competitors, main competitors, your Zoom Info, Cognizant, and others?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely cost effective. When you think about some of the legacy data providers, certainly the ones that sell platform access and have very robust platforms in there, obviously there's a lot of product, and with that comes a price tag to follow, and anyone who's been in the space is no stranger to that. We sell an extension that is, I would say, I won't say very inexpensive, but certainly when you start talking about larger volumes of sales professionals in particular, it's very cost effective at that point. And one of the problems that we solve for, as you know, James, is we're not going into a mid-market or an enterprise company and they're just saying, well, I just have one data provider. They're saying, okay, I've got 3 that I have the sales team equipped with. I've got 2 others that this regional squad's equipped with. And then we do list enrichment and things like that via these guys. So they might be using, 3 to 8 different data providers. And what we're able to do is help them focus on which data providers are most critical to be able to implement directly within Upcell, and then standardize their exporting and their prospecting across our extension. So we're definitely not replacing a lot of the the list building and enrichment solutions and things like that. Anyone doing bulk downloading, that's not really our ICP. We're really that bottoms up approach for those individual contributors.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me on to that. My next question. So we may just like break this down for like an agency, 100 SDRs, or an enterprise team, 100 SDRs plus maybe the same again in like AEs, or half that again in AEs. Just talk me through like that workflow and why Upcell, like as an SDR and an AE, talk me through the workflow with Upcell, and then still being able to get access to all those other data providers, to what people are probably more familiar with now. So the more familiar version is, got Zoom Info for my US team, got Cognizant for my EMEA team. They've all got licenses to both. And then we also use Apollo to do some sequencing. Everyone has a license for that as well, by the way. And then we've got a RevOps team who are using Clay, who are doing some waterfall stuff in there. And then we give them these lists, and they have 3 different extensions on the screen. That's the thing people are familiar with. How does your tool help them get away from that, these big agencies or these big enterprise customers? What's the
I think the organizations like Clay and those types of solutions, I don't think they're going anywhere. And as you know, I've been in the space for 15 years, and I think that for list building and enrichment, bulk enrichment, a solution like Clay and AirScale is just awesome. They're great. It's an Excel table, right? It's what we've all wanted. It's an Excel table with a bunch of APIs plugged into it. So it's awesome for any GTM engineer out there. Those will be the foundational layer toward building any kind of list. I think a lot of organizations right now are thinking about how can I leverage a Clay appropriately, and still equip my team and still enable them to prospect. And I know you and I are cut from the same cloth on this, but I very much do believe that sales reps should own prospecting for the contacts specifically. And that's very much a bottoms up approach. List building and things like that should be done on the marketing side, a top down distribution. I think where organizations run into trouble is where that kind of bleeds into the middle, where you've got, they're trying to use a top down solution, disseminate every single record to every single sales rep. And I think you just miss things. Contacts are missed. The reps still need to prospect. Then you get this kind of like deal desk scenario with contacts where, the reps are requesting a contact. That's what we did 20 years ago, right? Like we don't want to go back to that. So I think it's important to enable the reps, but also, supplement list building solutions and enrichment solutions from the top down perspective. We leverage the same API keys that you would use in a Clay, and you can simply just plug them into Upcell, and those records would be enriched. So the same API tokens and the same API keys that you're leveraging in those list building solutions could be used directly within Upcell as well. So you're choosing the data via the API, and then you've got a Clay or an AirScale for that solution, and then the bottom solutions in Upcell to be able to plug in, all different data providers, but still enable the reps to prospect.
Yeah. So the SDR or the AE sat there has literally just Upsell on their screen. They've got, RevOps, marketing, building those lists, and I can sit there and I can, on LinkedIn, I can pick, I need this contact, I need this contact. Like one click, creates the contact, pushes it to my list, can also push it to my engagement tool, specific sequence, all from that without having to navigate away from LinkedIn. So I could go company by company, for example, these are the 5 people I need, bang, 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 and then just call through them.
Yeah.
Having all the other providers and everything you just explained working on the back end.
It's all in the back end. Clean. The only thing the rep sees, and as you know, we don't even need clicking. We have a hotkey driven system. So all they'll press is Alt C or Option C on their keyboard, and that record will shoot directly into CRM and then drop into their engagement flow. That engagement flow and all the workflow and things like that, like I mentioned earlier, that can actually be administered from a top down perspective. RevOps can control which sequences are available, what kind of fields are populated, what are requested by the rep, all that kind of stuff. And then, by the time that the rep is in Salesforce or they're in HubSpot or they're in their engagement layer, that record is fully enriched, not just with Upsell data, but with whatever data providers that they have via API as well.
Exactly. So much smoother, so much cleaner. And, is championing SDRs and AEs to have more conversations and be in control of the contacts.
That's exactly it. Just more convos, right? Every single sales team I've ever run, the one thing that remains constant throughout is I just want more conversations for the team. They're going to do more discovery, more uncovering of pain, and they're going to be able to support their customers better if they just get on the phone and have the chats.
Yeah, exactly. One final point that I think just occurred to me that maybe I want to make sure people are crystal clear on. People, big enterprise businesses, they still want Zoom Info, they still want Cognism, they want the best of both, right? If they go looking for other waterfall enrichment tools or even their own Clay instance, I'm not sure if they both can feed into Clay yet, or if you have to come up with some workarounds. But you won't find those top providers in waterfall enrichment tools. So what you've done with Upsell is allow people to still access both of those without buying every single person a license, because they can all just use Upsell and then have Cognism and Zoom Info plug the gaps for the right regional teams. And that's why it's so powerful, right?
Yep, more to come on all of that for sure. We definitely are expanding all the different providers within our waterfall specifically, but yeah, I think like people would be surprised also how good of quality a lot of the new providers are, and there's a lot out there now, and you'll see a lot of them in the enrichment solutions as well. But there's some really high quality data. We're in there obviously, and like I said, I think we have the highest quality mobile phone database out there, and I think people will be pretty surprised, when they can experiment with some of the data that's available to them.
Yeah, excellent. Final question: as someone such a good sort of data enrichment background, champions same things that I do, where do you see like AI coming into maybe some of the data enrichment tools in the right way? What should people look out for, and what should they maybe ignore?
That's the tricky question, right? I mean, all the application that AI is evolving so quickly that whatever I say on this to you, James, now they're going to look at that, and we're going to have to take the video down at some point here soon, right? So, but I think in our space in contact data specifically, like you can't ask AI to get James Donaldson's mobile phone. It's just not going to be a thing. So, it becomes not terribly important for contact data. But when you start thinking about all the different firmographic information, as well as like signal data, AI gets quite valuable quickly. A lot of the issues with signal data in the past has been it's very difficult to consume, and it's very difficult to make sense of. There's so much going on. AI can certainly chew through a lot of that to be able to surface more reasonable insight to reach out to those individuals or those companies. I also think firmographically, so you think about what kind of technology a company is using, whether it be technographics or even just base firmographic data, things around funding or events happening at the company, everything releasing quarterly filings and all that. AI is exceptional at that. If there's some sort of transcription or there's some sort of information that it can read, natural language, that's what it's made for, right? So all of that, I think people are starting to open up the hood a little bit more on that, and I think that they're going to be pleasantly surprised in terms of the accuracy, the robustness, and the richness of the data for firmographics in particular.
Excellent. Mark, pleasure speaking to you as always. Great to see you guys, going from strength to strength, working with more and more enterprise customers and helping them get good data, good workflows for their teams. Where can people find you? Where can people find out about Upsell and I guess test it out?
Yeah, just start it on our website, upcell.io.
Yeah, excellent, Mark. Pleasure speaking as always. And yeah, we'll catch up soon, I'm sure.
Thanks so much, James.